Radio. We're live online. We're live everywhere. So, if you are tuning in, this is Tuesday. This is Tech Tuesday. Last Tuesday was Taco Tuesday. This week is Tech Tuesday. Because we
weren't eating tacos.
We didn't have any tacos. We needed some tacos. We needed some tacos. But I am the host. I am Gilbert. I am the Angry IT Nerd, and with me always is the best co-host ever in all of the internet. He is Techno George, aka George. George, how the heck are you, man?
Wonderful, but I have no tacos today, so it's not taco. You know, it should be kind of like, you know, we should do like a Taco Tech Tuesday where we're eating tacos, and, you know, and talking about tech.
That's the way to think.
Eat during the show and then
right?
have dinner. There you go.
Right? And so
instead of having dinner before the show or dinner after the show.
Right? You know, instead of, trying to, like, starve ourselves and then just like and just shove food.
I do have a bag of cheesy poofs, so.
All right.
I kind of snack on stuff, but you know, I will turn off my microphone when I'm starting to crunch, so as not to add to the radio chatter. So.
Well, sometimes I guess you gotta add to the chatter, to the chitter chatter. But also the thing with Chat GPT versus, is it DeepSeek or DeepSeek? Yes, DeepSeek.
DeepSeek. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It looks like it's pretty good. I mean, as far as like pulling news, it beats out Chat GPT with news. Doing calculations is the same. Writing a poem, which is odd, but all right. Chat GPT went out on that one. So I guess being creative and knowing how to rhyme, I guess.
Yeah.
So
to rhyme words, or basically had to.
Or I guess just something that kind of made sense as a rhyme. Yeah. I guess so. I guess that's maybe where Chat GPT won out at.
Yeah. I've used that, before, just to make a poem, or to do like a song lyric or something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. That can make sense. I mean, especially if you kind of what you want to say, but you just don't know how to phrase it correctly. Right. So I get that. See, creating a table, Chat GPT went out on that one. So this is like creating a table just in general, for Excel, Google Sheets. Doesn't say anything about websites. So it looks like it's just Excel and Google Sheets on that.
Mm-hmm.
See, solving a riddle. DeepSeek won all of that one, but it says for the wrong reason. So it says here, for the final question, I wanted something that might differentiate these otherwise very similar chatbots. What about a riddle? I found a list of riddles and fed the first 5 to both chatbots, starting with DeepSeek. It aced them all. As I started to feed them to ChatGPT, it got them correct as well. But then I maxed out the number of messages I could on the free plan. Though this isn't what I originally testing for, it might be a reason to use DeepSeek, or another chatbot like Claude or Gemini for that matter. Oh. Okay, so
do you think that maybe in the 1966 Batman series, when he was battling the Riddler, he was using some sort of form of AI? From
probably
a Bat computer. He was like feeding it into the Bat computer, and the Bat computer was like spitting out the answer, and he was like, oh,
haha, probably. Probably. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. The 1966 Batman, they had Google.
Well, he probably had some. Well, because I remember he had the remote.
Well, the Bat computer
He
kind
had a
of.
remote for the Batmobile, which basically came from the Batcave. So the Batcave basically transmitted from Wayne Manor to the to this device that he had to control the Batmobile. He
Yeah.
was able to, I mean,
And it also kind of worked as a communications as well.
right.
Yeah, so.
Communications device.
But, oh, yeah, it's possible that that it had a form of AI that are using that, yeah.
So instead of instead of Chat GPT, it was Bat GPT.
That was Bat GPT.
Thought that would be cool.
No, but I thought this this AI, man. I know we keep going over this AI stuff, but it's depending, I guess, on how you use it. You can use it for good or use it for evil. Either way,
Yeah,
it'll do what it's supposed to do.
The in video AI I've been looking at to create video, portions and stuff like that. A lot of stuff has been very, very good. I got fooled a couple of times, like from Marvel trailers for concepts for Spider-Man and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, this is somebody's.
That's their vision, and
Yeah, it's like their vision of it.
yeah, and then sometimes you're looking at it, and it's like, this is a lot better than what Marvel or DC would put out. It's like, man, and it's just like that. It fools you every time because you don't know. Until at the end, then clearly you'll know if it's official Marvel, DC, or if it's just like a fan made type of thing.
Right.
AI is getting better, man.
Yeah.
It's getting better. Oh shit! This is encroaching on some scary, dangerous territory. So.
Yeah, the 1950s Panavision, the Jetsons I watched, which was very interesting. The Jetsons trailer, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is really cool. It's like, I'd like to see more of this, but of course it's not.
Yeah, and you look at them, and a lot of those I see, it's like, I would love to see a full movie of this in like this style. But yeah, that's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool.
I've been looking at there's a. It's not bionics per se, but it is a. They sell it on Amazon. Actually, it's like $800. It's for your legs if you're a hiker and you hike or whatever. It's like a bionic augmentation device. So it basically, you can travel 30% farther with it. It straps to your legs. It has motors in it. It has rechargeable battery. It has some form of AI on it, or incorporated into it, and it's supposed to be if you're going uphill, like if you're trekking uphill, and you can't do it with your legs anymore. This thing basically augments your legs, so it
like a basically like an exoskeleton.
Right, it's like an exosuit.
Yeah.
Right. It's just for your legs, and I was like, oh, okay, well that's pretty cool. You could do something like that. But I mean, they do have something for your arms. You strap your arms into it. Has rechargeable battery. It's if you have to do like work or something like if you do work all day where you have to use your upper body all the time.
And yeah, it will definitely help in definitely not injuring yourself, and then
Right.
you work.
Yeah, injuring your back, injuring your neck, your upper body, and you would be hooked into this device. And when you have to actually lift something heavy, it augments your arms. It augments the lifting power. It actually takes the load off of it. but the one thing I saw about it, which was really cool, was if you had to lift very heavy tools, like if you had like a jackhammer in your hand, instead of putting the jackhammer down and holding it, if you had to take the jackhammer and put it at a perpendicular angle to a wall where going like this, you can actually hook the tool to it. It actually has this overhead crane that hooks into the pack and takes the load for you. You just hook it up to, this cable, and you just use it like that. And I was like, wow, that's really cool.
Oh, that is pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
They're in the $2,500 range, something like that. But it was called Hyper something. I think it's called HyperX. Let me see. HyperX.
There's an engineer that I follow on YouTube and TikTok, and he's called Cayman the Creator. And one of his inventions was an exosuit, kind of like that, in which it was like a full body thing, where essentially it created it so people that were had difficulty moving, had difficulty lifting things, things of that nature, or just like if you were working or construction kind of scene like that, and yet you would have the strength to be able to to lift whatever you need to lift, to walk wherever you need to walk, do whatever you need to do.
I'm looking him up right now. It's
Camin. Caemen. I do believe it's called Cayman the Creator. Caemen.
Okay.
Let's see.
It's Kaemen.
Oh, Kae. Okay. But yeah, he created a
the exoskeleton suit.
Exoskeleton suit. Yeah. He did that, and he made an Aquaman type of like hydro. Like a jetpack type of thing.
Right.
Well, it's like a trident. Well, it uses like a trident and like jets on his back. Well, like propeller jets, yeah. To basically swim as fast as Aquaman in, the Aquaman movies. And
cool. It's hydraulic.
So yeah, it works out pretty good. It looks like he essentially just got just like a lot of stuff from like specialty stores and like STEM places and even just like stuff from your local hardware store as well.
Yeah, it looks like a basic. It looks like the old Erector sets, like I used to have when I was a kid.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
And so he's got a lot of cool stuff that he's invented.
Oh wow! This thing reminds me of the the battle suit from the Tom Cruise movie.
Yeah, Elysium. Yeah, that's.
No. That.
Oh no, that was Matt
Yeah,
Damon.
with Matt Damon.
Oh, Tom, that was oh gosh.
Something tomorrow. Tomorrow. I don't forget
And
what it was.
Edge of Tomorrow, Day After Tomorrow, the
Yeah.
day before,
Yeah,
something
that's
like
it. Edge of
that.
Tomorrow. Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one with Emily Blunt, where he has this battle suit, and it's this augmented suit. It has a battery on it, has weaponry on it.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, because I remember that. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's supposed to
Mm-hmm.
basically augment the soldier in the field. It's interesting. Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, he's one of the ones that I follow, and of course, Hacksmith.
Oh yeah, Hacksmith, they're awesome.
To
They made that they made that
yeah.
lightsaber. That lightsaber is really cool. First, they used the the tungsten rod, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool. They got a tungsten rod." And all of a sudden, it goes, "This is the first lightsaber that does not use a tungsten rod, and the blade just comes right." I'm like, "Wow, they're getting there, man.
Yeah.
Using a plasma induced gas blade to cut through stuff." Because I remember the tungsten one,
Mm-hmm.
they cut through styrofoam. He was like cutting through styrofoam. Like, okay, well, let's try steel. And he's trying to steal.
Right.
Yeah.
And so yeah, there's a couple of them that have like a lot of cool stuff that they do. There's another engineer that I follow. Her name is Emily. Emily the engineer, and she actually was able to make a set of Wolverine, retractable
Oh,
claws.
yeah.
But actually,
I have her in my lineup. Yeah.
yeah,
She's really cool.
yeah. The thing is, with her set of claws is that they're actually kind of not bulky, not big and bulky with like a steam big pack on it or anything like that. They're meant for like cosplay props, and so
Right.
yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Because any other
Yeah.
ones that
She was using um, she was using some sort of hydraulic syringe to
hmm
for the retractable claws, which I thought was very interesting. Um, the other person I
hmm
follow is Jeremy Fielding. He's an engineer. He actually takes apart, like he'll find like old washing machines and stuff on the road, and he'll take the motors, but he'll take all the stuff out of it, and he'll show you how you can use the motors for other things. How you can. So he created a free, like it was supposed to be like a free energy generator. So it was actually a
okay,
motor hooked to a motor to create power,
yeah,
how to charge a battery. Um, and he explains all the electrical circuits, which is very good. It's very interesting. Like, he took, I think he took the guts out of like a treadmill, and he made, I forget what he makes out of it, but
yeah. I'm looking at his YouTube right now, and yeah, it looks like he's got a lot of stuff like really a lot of cool stuff, like
Jeremy Fields is
robotics.
pretty cool.
Got stuff about robotics.
Yeah,
Looking at
robotics and
this
stuff.
and about motors and what. Oh, I can see. Oh, I can see right now. I'm going to go through a rabbit hole down this one. I can see right now. I'm going as soon.
Yeah, he built an industrial robot built from scratch, but Jarvis 2.0. Yeah, he built because I was watching that one. It was really cool. Um, so yeah,
Oh,
he has a
oh
garage,
yeah.
but he built all the things, but
Oh yeah, I can see right. Yeah, this is gonna this will definitely be something I'm going to go down a deep rabbit hole. It'll be this is probably going to be worse than when I first discovered Hacksmith.
There's this really cool website.
Mhm.
It's called Vention. Have you ever seen Vention?
No, I haven't. Let's see. What's that?
Vention is it's a company that you can order automated robot assembly line robots from, and you can order as large as you want. Like you can make things as large as you want. So you can actually make a robot that can, it can solder for you, or if you're gonna do an assembly line type of manufacturing, you design the robot online, and then they give you a price. You pay the price online, and they send it to you, and then you basically build the whole thing. It's like a giant erector set. You build the whole thing at your house or in your basement, and you hook it all up, and then you can program it. It has a learning mode on it, so you can teach it how to solder. Like if you need to do say 20 boards an hour or 50 boards an hour, and you're going to do some sort of like an assembly line thing for a business.
Yeah,
you can use these in your business, and they'll just keep popping out boards as long as you have enough solder and a lot, But I mean, it's other things too. I mean, they can.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as long as
they can do. I mean, they could do anything. Anything you could program it to do. But you basically teach it through its online software, and it's really cool. I was like, wow, if I was gonna I could possibly teach it to build the Kirk chair, so I could build 6 Kirk chairs, in an hour, or just do all the components for me, so I don't have to do all that. It would, it would actually,
be able to it would do it for you.
Yeah, I mean, it would curtail the time that it would take me to do it all by hand.
Yeah.
So instead of taking a year or 6 months, this thing would do it.
Yeah, I mean, as far as if something like I think anything something like whatever cushion or something like that you would have to use.
Right.
I think that may be the only exception where you would have to do that yourself. But as far as just the basic building of it and everything, that should knock out at least a good 75 to 90% of it. Depending on. Depending on if anything.
A service that they have. It's called PCBWay.com. PCBWay.com. You can actually design circuit boards online, and then the company will make them up for you. So if you have a circuit that you wanted to do, I don't know, if you were designing some sort of a computer system or some sort of a servo, a computer controlled servo type system. You can breadboard it all out if you want to. But then if you design with if you go to their site, they actually have software where you could do everything online. You design the whole thing, and then you send it to them, and they will actually prototype the board for you. They'll prototype the board, and then say, I need 20 boards. No problem. They probably have an automated system that actually does all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I would imagine so. Yeah, because I mean, if you're designing a board like that, and then say you order 20 of them down, I mean, they'd be able to account, for bulk orders for 20, 50, 100, 200,
they,
you know,
they also
stuff like that. Yeah.
have 3D printing services as well. So if you
Okay.
if you had designed something,
Then yeah, I guess.
if you had a shape and you didn't know how to scan it, you could send them the sketch of what it is. They will design it with their software, and then they will 3D print it out and send it to you and say, well, I need it this big. You know? I need a Kirk chair. 1-to-1 scale. That works.
Right.
I'm sure that they could do it. I mean, some of the things on their site are very.
I'm on their site right now, and it looks really cool.
Yeah.
Stuff that they got on there is. Oh, what the heck? But yeah. Stuff looks cool.
Industrial design. They do automotive, medical and dental, cultural and creativity, and industrial. So it's very interesting. So they can make. I don't know. I'm sure they can make any part that you can think of. But,
looks like it. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool stuff.
That is really cool.
PCBWay.com, yeah. They PCB prototype the easy way. So they have CNC machining and 3D printing. They have a PCB instant quote, assembly, electronic design. So
Huh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
So those are some stuff, some things that keep you busy. I'm trying to find HyperX. Trying to find the exoskeleton. HyperX exoskeleton. It's not HyperX. What is it? Hyper something.
Well, I know it's coming soon. I'm just waiting for the day that somebody creates an exoskeleton, for anybody that's paralyzed.
Oh, they have that now. Did you see the one? Well, it was for.
No, I haven't. Let's see. Let me look that up. I gotta see that.
There's one that they make. If you're paralyzed from the waist down, it has an AI in it, and what it does is it walks over to you, and it straps onto your legs, and then it lifts you up, and it actually walks like so. If you want to walk, I think you move your hips or something like that, but it's in the experimental stage now. It's very interesting. I was looking at it. It was actually supposed to be used for people with spinal cord injuries.
Yeah, because I see here that. Okay, well, this is not anything new. So they do have the exoskeletons for legs that it looks here for people that are rehabbing, like injuries.
Right.
Looks like somebody that has a stroke. They look like they're learning to walk. And oh no, yeah, they got one here where a guy that is paralyzed, and robotic skeletons helping him walk. Okay. So yeah, it looks like he's so here, I'm gonna check this video out because it looks really cool. So it's a CNET, looks like it's a CNET interview in which a guy, he's in a wheelchair and oh yeah, he's got these attachments to his legs, and I mean he's walking with canes, but he's up and walking.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
It has an AI on board, so the AI basically
I'm sure it
compensates for if they're gonna fall over. Like if you're starting to fall over and shift your weight, the robot will actually strengthen either, the right or the left leg so that you do not fall over. But it has a it has the same I can't think of the word. It has the same gyroscopic action that your phone does, or a Segway does. Like the Segway will actually keep you level if you lean to one side, because that's basically how you steer it.
Yeah.
And
so basically, if you lean one way, it kind of helps compensate and get your balance. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, now this stuff is really interesting.
Robotic rehabilitation therapy using HAL, hybrid assistive limb for patients with spinal cord lesions. Narrative review. HAL, that's funny. Just what
whoever
doing, George.
Whoever the person that designed that. They did. They wanted to name that so bad. They saw that movie and they said, I'm using HAL. I don't know where and I don't know how. I'm using HAL. That's funny. That's one of those movies I need to watch.
What, 2001: Space Odyssey?
Yeah.
You haven't seen 2001 yet?
I've seen parts of it. I've not seen the whole movie.
It's on Turner Classic Movies, TCM. Actually, it's on it's on TCM.
No. Oh, okay. That's cool. I was gonna do like I always do.
Brought me to see it when it was first run in 1968, he said you like science fiction, you like outer space. This thing is gonna blow your socks off. I was like, okay, and I'm watching. I'm like, what the hell is this thing with the apes? I didn't understand like the beginning, with the apes, and all of a sudden when it got to the space stuff, I was like, wow, this is awesome, man. This is the coolest thing. And
that is awesome.
It still holds up to this day, though. 2001: Space Odyssey. It still holds up. Special effects still hold up to this day, because Kubrick never he didn't use blue screen. He used something called I believe he used rear projection. So he projected an image onto a screen, and then had the models in front of that screen. So the star field was in the background, and then the models were in the foreground, and it's just seamless. It's beautiful.
Okay.
So
yeah, I will definitely have to make a point to check that out so I don't forget. Let me write this down. Because I will honestly, I say, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it, and then the second I hit close, I forgot. But I have it. I mean, I have every intention, and I do honestly do. I mean to do it, and I am going to do it. But the second that as it closes, almost like just gone.
Yeah, that's when I'm trying to find words like for model citizen. I go, I had it. It was on the tip of my tongue. And now it's gone. It's gone. I have to write everything down. So, certain questions I need to ask people, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's understandable because you'll remember, oh yeah, this is a great question to ask, I'll remember it. And then when the day comes, it's like, oh, what was I going to ask?
I put it all down now as bullet points, like going, ask him this, ask him that, ask her that, ask him
this.
Make sure you do this, make sure you reset the show. And, I'm trying to follow a script so that it becomes second nature to me. But when I'm asking a question and I couldn't get the Nubian fighter, the souped up Nubian fighter for the Mandalorian, and Gretchen was just right there, and she went boop, and I was like, "Yep, that's that's what I wanted to say." Like and I said the starfighters from the Phantom Menace. Yeah, the Nubian fighter. Oh, okay, yeah, there you go. So.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Do we have any questions in the chat? Do we have a chat? Is anybody in the chat? Please ask us a question, please.
Let's see. Yeah. It's just me and you today, man.
Just me and me.
It's just me and you today.
We're just winging it.
So we're just waiting talking about exoskeletons. I mean, but still, it's some interesting stuff, man. Yeah. Like I see all the robotics and the engineering and everything like that, and sometimes I'm thinking to myself, I went into the wrong major. God, I should have been an engineer, because engineers build all the cool shit.
Yeah. Well, when I started in engineering, it was 1980. I want to say 81, 82. Just got out of high school. I graduated high school in 1980, got into college, and I was going to be an engineer and all sorts of stuff. And I mean, I liked engineering, but I just didn't. I hated sitting in a classroom just and they're like throwing stuff at you, blah, blah, and you're like, I just.
It's like,
I just wanted to do it, to actually, get in there and do it.
Yeah,
but they're not going to get, they're not going to give it a chance to do it unless, you had that training.
Right.
The mechanical drawing part was easy for me. The mechanical drawing, all this other stuff, it was easy. It was the math. The math was hard at the time. My father could do math in his head, like that. Where I'd have to use like a calculator or have like a Spurry computer in front of me and, have it done, And,
yeah, I understand that.
But yeah, I was doing computers. I only did computers in 85. I started in 85, like when I got into the police department. But that that was when home PCs were getting into the realm. But yeah, engineering was. I mean, it was cool. You could do a lot of cool things. Robotics really wasn't a thing back then. It was more like civil engineering. There were, making parts and stuff like that, CNC machining.
Yeah.
It was just like scratching the surface of what, of what was possible. The engineering book that I had was really cool. It had like, it had a picture I'll never forget. It was a picture of a classroom that was a giant helicopter. So it was this.
Oh, that's pretty cool. It was like
this rectangular classroom. And it had helicopter blades on it, so you could like fly the classroom to
That is pretty awesome.
Place, and then, I never forget the book. I was looking at the book and I was like, going, "This is so cool. This is something that an engineer would,
Yeah.
do."
Yeah.
But yeah, they had engineering, mechanical drawing. They had architecture, which I thought was very interesting. They had an architecture class. I didn't take the architecture class. The architecture class was more if you were already an engineer and you wanted to get into architecture, you could do that. And then there was a class on making models, so that you had to actually make a model of the building that you were going to build, and it had to be to scale. It was a scaled model. It had like load-bearing beams. It had all this other stuff, and you basically had to, design it the way you would design an actual building. And that's basically what architects do. They make a scale model of it first, and then they can go around and say, well, we can change this here and change that there, and depending on the landscape. And that went in like to civil engineering, where you were using the landscape, I believe, for if you were going to use, like, if you had a project in the city, okay, say you lived in a city, and then you took down this one building, what are you going to put there? You're going to put a school there, you're going to put a community center, you're going to put a church, you're going to put whatever, and it was all, it was all of the things that you would have to do in order to build it, within the confines of the city. That was what the whole class was about. And they were using computers at the time, but I remember the computer at the college was, it was a mainframe. It was an IBM 4341, 9-track tape, and it had the punch cards. I don't think you've ever been exposed to the punch cards. The punch cards.
No, I have not. But I do.
The line code.
Yeah, so. I do know about it, but I've never been exposed to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had punch cards. Each card, it looked like a long postcard, and you would use a typewriter and you would type in. So you would type in your lines of code. Your lines of code would be punched onto a card, and the cards had to be in order, and you would put them into this big tray. You bring the tray over to the reader, and you take the stacks of cards. You go from the back, you put it into the reader, and then you could put the tray in the reader. But the whole thing is that if you did them in a certain order, because they had to be read into a certain order. So if you had like 500 cards, because I remember we had a tray of 500 cards. 500 cards would be like maybe 500 lines of code.
Okay.
To create an instruction for the computer. So if you dropped the tray and the cards went all over the place, you had to pick them up and put them back into the order that you typed them. And it was a real pain in the butt. But the reader was basically, it would read like a card would go in, and there would be these little light signals, and the light signals would go through the card. It would read over the card, and it would look at what you punched, and that would be the line of, that would be the instruction that you gave the computer.
Okay.
But that's basically how it started. Now it's just like, you take a disc, or you go online, you grab the program, and you put it into the computer. I mean, they still do, I know ADP, automated data processing. They I think they still use the readers, but the readers use 8-track tape, like the 8-track sound
Yeah.
tape we used to use back in the 70s. They use that now for data storage, but it's a I think they've gone to a faster system. But yeah, it was just it was just like it's like you had the thing, and then after you read it in and there was an error, you would have to debug the programs. You'd have to do like a debug, and the debug would be like, well, you missed the card. I'm like, no, the card got stuck onto another card and just read it, and then it read everything in, but then all of a sudden you were like, well, what happened to this card? Well, it got stuck onto the other card because of static electricity or whatever. So what you had to do was you had to do it all over again, which was a pain in the I was like going, you know what? I'm done. I can't do this anymore, man. I'm just done.
See, and it's usually at that instance is where you want to grab a hammer. So you want to?
I used to see people walking out of the lab just cursing us.
See,
throw the cards in the air. I hate this course. I'm like, well.
And again, that's where
signed up for it.
And again, at that instance, that's where you're looking for. That's where you're looking for a hammer or an open window. Maybe both.
It was really funny.
Oh my god, that would infuriate me. If I had to do that, that would infuriate me to no end.
I mean, I think you're like you're creating, apps for the thing. And like imagine doing that to create an app. That's basically what they were doing. They were creating applications. They were feeding it into, the computer, and then.
So again, already sometimes I want to grab a hammer. Already just doing that.
Well, I worked at Citibank for a summer in New York, in Manhattan, and they had a robotic microfiche system, and it was called the Wall, and it had these it had an X and a Y axis robot that would it would move on the wall. It had the little three like grippers. It would grip the microfiche. And it had a wall of all these little microfiche things. They look like little things of film, but they were actually magnetic tape. And they would pick this little cylinder out, and it would go down and up and down, whatever. And it would put it into the reader. It would read it, and then the thing would come back, and it would grab it. But there were two of them, and it was the big wall. It was called the Wall. So they had these little. These little robotic, grippers.
Okay.
On an X and a Y axis, so they would, go up and down, and left and right. But they were offset, so one would go this way, one would go that way, and sometimes they would get caught. They'd like crash into each other, and they would go and then you get this big error on the console. And then you'd have to shut everything down and try to get
loosen it up and then reset it.
Ladder. Yeah, because it was huge, this big wall. Just get like a little step ladder and step up, and then try to free these robots who were still they were still within their they were still within retrieval mode. When they were still within retrieval mode, you could hear the motors grinding. They were trying to do their job. And you're trying to do this at the same time that they're trying to go in retrieval mode. you're like, you're like pulling them apart. You're pulling apart, and they go zzz, zzz, zzz. And if you didn't move and get your hands out of the way, you get your hands ripped off. And they would go zzz, 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 and
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't happen all the time, but when it did,
it was
just a pain in the ass because you had to do it all over again because those instructions were now null and void. Sometimes if you were, if you knew that there was going to be an incident, you could shut it or you could like pause it, do a pause in the program, and it would pause. It would do what it had to do, and then do a reset. You would reset everything, and then do it all, and then go from that point on. But those were few and far between. That was the one system that I had to work on, which was, and you learn. You learn after that. You're like, all right, I went from the stupid punch cards to these stupid robots getting clinked in and hooked up to each other, going and you had to shut it down, and
and then go through the whole effort.
Things are
gosh,
like I used to curse that person, whoever came up with that. I was like going, okay, it's robotics and computers. What the hell were you thinking, man?
So whoever it was, I want to punch you in the face right now.
I build a time machine and go back in time and punch you right in the face for having that thought, and then get back in my time machine and come back to the future.
So, still keep building it, but so I'm just letting you know. Wow.
I have this great idea.
Yeah, it is great. It's a great idea. It works. But here, take this first. Because it does work, but it's just a pain in the ass. So
I used to do the 401k for ADP, and the job had to run at 6:30, like every night, and doing some power commands on the computer, doing some stuff, and I remember one of the 8-track tapes was blank, but it was in my stack. Like somebody just took it and threw it there, and I didn't know it was blank. And I put the whole thing in, and the thing's running, and it's coming up with all these errors, and they're going, "What are you doing? What are you doing? You're supposed to be running the program." I'm running the program. It went in. He goes, and I'm looking at I'm like checking the data, and I'm like going, "It's blank." I said, "Who the hell threw a blank one in here?" It's like, so since somebody else had the data module of my program, and they were using it for something else, they erased it. They erased that data module, so I couldn't run the 401k. Couldn't run the 401k program. Man. I was like, really? You erased it? You couldn't just put it in the computer. And he goes, well, it was in my stack. I was like, well, can't just take stuff from other people,
right?
And then when I was tape librarian, it was just a lonely job. Like tape librarian was just, like people would come in to get certain programs or certain data, and you just sit there and freeze for 8 hours. Like I had on like a sweater, a scarf, a hat with gloves, and I just sit there in the computer room because it had to be like
because it had to be cold. Yeah,
and it was like cold outside. It was like it was 30. Yeah, it was like 30. It was like 33 degrees in the lab, and then it was like 10 degrees outside, so it would be warmer in the lab than
gosh.
Thing. You go out and go get hot chocolate, and then come back in and just sit there for 8 hours and just going, And there'd be some days it'd be just going, what the hell am I doing here? What am I doing here? Like going, yeah, I'm making a little bit of money, but you know what? I can't take this anymore. It's just,
Seems like one of those.
yeah, so I'm like,
Seems like it's one of those times where you start questioning all your life decisions
yeah,
and what led you to this point. And it's like
just do anything just to pass the time. Like,
it's like, yeah, I mean, I'm making good money and there's nothing to the work. I mean,
yeah, I mean, I wanted to be building computers or fixing computers or something, and I was like, and then when I started, I think I started taking I was taking the A plus, the A plus,
certification. Yeah.
For A plus, engineer.
Mm-hmm.
And I was taking it at the time, and I went to a place in Parsippany. I was living in Parsippany at the time, and I was just taking it, and I was, going, and I go, okay, I got 30 minutes to get from where the computer tape lab was,
right,
to my class. I get there, and I'd be like dressed in like a parka, and everybody else would be like, dude, it's like 80 degrees out. Like, I'm freezing. I'm absolutely freezing. Like, what are you doing? Like, oh, I'm a tape librarian for this place, and like,
they're like,
I'm freezing my ass off.
And they're just looking like, what?
I was actually outside. Like, I would stand out. I'd stand outside for like, because it was like 80, 90 degrees at night one time. And I was standing outside. I was like, oh my God, it's so nice and warm out here. Oh my God. Like, I wish we could hold class outside. We're going to hold it inside in this air conditioned room. And everybody else was so hot. And they're like, oh, I'm freezing my ass off. So.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I got my A plus.
I know how that feels.
I was like, okay, I got my A plus certification finally. And then, Computer City came about, and I went to Computer City, but yeah. And then I had to do a retail, which was fun. Retail computers, always fun to deal with the public.
Yeah.
Like when I got a taste of going to Lucent and working for Lucent, because Steve got me the job at Lucent, Steve Warnick.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, well, you're going to be doing this. And I'm like, oh, so I'm not going to be working with the public? He goes, well, our customers are the people who work here. And I said, oh, okay. So it's not going to be working with the public? No. Good. I was like, I could do this. This is good.
So that's all I needed to know.
I can come in jeans and sneakers. I didn't have to wear a suit and tie. I could,
heck yeah, man.
Computer stuff that I had to deal with, and I could just do my work. That was great. Come in at 11 o'clock in the morning. I didn't have to come in at I didn't have to start at 8 o'clock in the morning, with a suit and tie on, say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir, all this other bull. Get all the abuse, and then,
It's a very little pay.
Oh, it was very little pay. It was, I think I was making, Tandy service. I think I was making $8 an hour, maybe $9. I think I was making $9 an hour. But it was just constant.
It was, yeah.
It was constant abuse. Like, my son is failing math because, he doesn't have his computer. And I was like, well, I learned math with a pencil
and paper.
A piece of paper. What are you trying to say? Well, if his computer runs out of battery power, he's going to have to do it on his own long ways,
So maybe he's going to have to do it another way.
Like we did it.
Right? Oh, so this is 7 o'clock. We're at the top of the hour, and this is the Help Desk, and I am your host. I am Gilbert, the angry IT nerd. I am here with George, we are talking about retail jobs.
Retail computer jobs.
Retail computer jobs that suck.
Retail
Oh my
jobs
gosh!
and neutron stars that suck. They both suck.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And I would say one of the worst and funniest was the times I worked at Staples and part of their Easy Tech. And needless to say,
Which was anything but.
No, it was far from easy. I mean, don't get me wrong, the work itself was actually easy. You know, it not anything strenuous or anything like that. And honestly, I don't even know why they even called it, virus removal or anything like that, because we never removed the virus. All we did was we would just run a diagnostic scan, and it was just saying, "Oh yeah, you've got approximately." X amount of viruses, you got approximately this, and yada, da, da, da. And then we just plug it up and somebody else would do it. Somebody else would remote in and do everything like that. And then while our asses had to deal with the customers. All the phone calls and all of the... I've had so many people ask me to hack in their systems. It's not even funny.
Yeah, we were on the front lines in Computer City. It was all because there was an upgrade counter, and then in the back of Computer City there was Tandy Service. So Tandy Service was actually a subsidiary of Radio Shack, but they were the techs, who worked on all of the computers, for Computer City. So everything that Computer City sold, they used to work on it. And I remember we used to send monitors out to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. We were in Hanover, in East Hanover, New Jersey at the time. And I remember this used to send out the monitors. And we had this thing where a tech friend of mine, my friend Steve, that wasn't Steve Warnick, it was he goes, we have to discharge the cathode ray tube of this monitor. And I was like, okay. So they had this, it looked like a giant, it was like a glass insulator tool, whatever, some sort of a tool, and it had a lead on it with like a big alligator clip. Mm-hmm. You would clip it to the cathode of the monitor, and you would you hook it to the anode of the monitor and then discharge the cathode, I believe. But when you discharge the monitor, this big blue spark would come across it and basically absorb all of the electrical power that was inside the tube. So then you could take the electronics apart and you could work on the electronics. You could replace certain things. Because I remember we had to work on one of the Apple monitors, and he goes, "Well, you have to discharge that." And there was this guy, Mike. He used to, whenever there was like, customers would give him a hard time because he was a little bit high strung, I guess. And I guess the stress was getting to him because they used to, well, I don't, he was, He always had an attitude with the customer. Like the customer would say, "Okay, I'm dropping off my computer, and I need it back in 3 days." And blah blah blah, blah. And he go and
Mm-hmm.
then he would take the computer, and as he's walking in the back, he would go, "Yeah, yeah, I need my computer back in 3 days." And he'd take the computer and he would put it across the room, and it would like hit the floor, bounce, like all these things would break on. Like, Mike, what are you doing? He goes, "Yeah, fucking God, blah, 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 blah. Who the hell do you think he is? Treat me like that." And I was like, Mike, I said, you can't. I said, you can't do this because, we're gonna, be losing money, and my my boss's name was Don. Great guy. I used to love Don, and he would get these people on the phone, and he goes, "Yeah." I goes, "Okay, hold on," and then he wouldn't put them on hold. He would keep, he'd take the handset, and he'd go, "Hey, Don, you want to talk to this asshole on the phone?" And the person would hear that, and then Don got on. "What are your guy go? Your guy," and this guy, he just was not happy with his life, with his chosen profession. But
So now that is somebody that just like you said,
he could not be in customer service.
He could not be in customer service because he hates everybody and everything. He doesn't care.
I saw him try to work on an Apple monitor one time, and the boards on the Apple monitors used to kind of like pull. It used to like pull up and out. Well, he never discharged the tube. And I said to him, I said, "Mike, did you discharge the tube?" Yeah, discharge the tube. He goes and he grabs the board. He didn't discharge the tube. All he saw was a human body fly from one end of the shop to the other, and like crash into into a computer table. And I went, "Oh my God!" I saw this big blue, like big spark, and I just saw him fly across the room. And after that, Mike just said, "I can't take this job anymore. I quit." Like he quit right there. He was all like, he was like, he just quit the next
that's
day.
hilarious.
And I said to Don, I said, "Mike's gone." He goes, "Thank God. Thank God we're actually going to make some more money. We're going to make some money." Because he used to take their computers and throw them.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
He was just not.
Honestly, he sounded like such a pleasure to be around.
That was because when I got the job for Computer City, I went to Tandy Service, but then there were like some budget cuts, and then I went I went to the upgrade so I was at the upgrade counter, so I was in the back doing all the upgrades, putting in all the RAM and stuff like that. And then Don was trying to get me back into the shop, but they were just a bunch of characters, man, in that place. It was funny because you never knew what was gonna happen.
I see. There's two ways to take that. You take that as every day is an adventure, or every day is an anxiety attack waiting to happen.
This one guy we had, he was a young guy. He used to break we had these AT&T phones, in the shop, and we had we had 4 at every station. So we had 1 at every station. We had like 4 stations, and then there was the boss's phone. Of course, boss was in his office. So this guy used to take the phone, and he used to like get so mad, he would take the handset and beat the hell out of the phone. He goes, and then hang up on the person. Then you go to use that phone, and it didn't work. And I was like, the thing rings, and you go, hello, computer. Hello, and it's going bling, bling, and you're like, you pick it up.
You're like, hello. Hello.
Yeah. And
hello.
you can't hear it
hello.
'cause,
hello.
You used to beat the
right.
Used to beat the handset to shit. I was like, oh my god! I sat there one day because my friend Lee was there, and he had the phone. He goes, there's like only one working phone in this shop. So whenever it rang, we had to go to that phone. And every time this kid went to the phone, I was like, dude, do not beat it. I said, this is the only working phone. I don't care. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, just, I said, you know what? You want to use the phone? Go into Don's office and go use his phone. See what happens when you start beating that up. So he beat that one up.
Oh my God.
And Don came back from vacation, and that phone, didn't work. And I was like, well, Don goes, what's going on with my phone? I said, your wonderful employee, would,
he would get mad and
phones.
He would get mad and
trying to fix them.
Yeah.
And the AT&T phones, the handsets they were like, I guess they were very fragile. So we had to use shop money to order new handsets, which came in. All new handsets, all the phones worked. Everything was fine. And then the one week Don was on vacation, I think, and he made me manager, and I don't want to be the manager. I had to field all these stupid calls. Irate people calling and all this other stuff. Your tech did this and your tech did that. And they said, where's the manager? I said, I'm the manager. You're the manager? Well, yeah. Had to make sure all the shipments that were coming in were fine. All the stuff going out was fine, because it was a guy who used to come and grab all the monitors and bring them to the Bethlehem location to get them fixed. They had a tech there that just did monitors, and I had to make sure all those shipments were good. And it was like a lot of going back and forth, and just talking to like irate people. I'm like,
yeah,
just like printers and computers and. This guy sold me this, and I don't know why he sold this to me, and I don't need this for my business, and my business is this, and da 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 da, and I make $100 million a year, and I'm like, if you make $100 million a year, dude, you can afford to buy anything. Get the hell out of my shop, please.
Right?
Just
So you're just here, just starting shit, just because.
Yeah.
But I mean, I get it. Yeah.
I mean, I was up to my the one time I was up to my. I had 4 customers I'm taking care of at one time, and one guy had a monitor. I said, look, I'm going to make this easy for you. I'm going to give you a brand new monitor. I'm going to take the old monitor and I'm going to ship it back. And the one GSM came into the shop and he goes, but this monitor doesn't have anything wrong with it. And I took the monitor and I got a hammer and I went, wham! I was like, now it does. Okay, type correct screen. Now it does. He goes, oh, okay, I guess it has something wrong with it. Yes, it does. Okay, we got to bring it back. I gave him a brand new monitor. Let him go. Goodbye. And then.
Hey, what can you say, man? You gave him what he wanted. What can you say?
It was just, I was like, I'm just trying to solve a problem here. That's all I'm trying to do. Trying to eat lunch. I like when Don was on vacation, I could not eat lunch for a whole week. You used to get home at 10 o'clock at night and go, Oh, I'm gonna eat my lunch at home. 10 o'clock at night. Wonderful. And it was just it was like gruel. I mean, I learned a lot about computers and I learned a lot about people, but man, this
I yeah, I can
with
understand that. Cause
when you have country bumpkins with money, you're I mean, you're in a world of hurt, man. It's just
no. Look here, when you have entitled country bumpkins.
Oh yes, entitled.
So
Yeah.
with or without money, it doesn't. Well, I'm not even sure which ones are worse. The ones with money or the ones without money. I'm not even sure which ones are worse.
Well, when we had we had a run on Windows 95. I remember because Windows 95 had just come out, and there was a special. You get a processor and you get RAM. And somebody brought in an AS400, an IBM AS400, Application System 400. Now, if you don't know what the AS400 is, it's a mini mainframe. They brought in this huge case, and I remembered it because I worked on it back when I was working for Xerox. And I was looking at the thing. I'm like, we don't have RAM for this. And you know, the girl goes, I got this computer the other day, and I was like, where'd you get this computer from? Well, it was sold on Craigslist. I think Craigslist was a thing back then. I think it was first, and I was like, how much did you pay for this? She goes,
yeah, that sounds like Craigslist.
What?
I said that sounds like Craigslist. All right.
Yeah, I paid like $1,000 or $500. I forget. Wait. You paid $1,000 for an Application System 400? She goes, how do you know it's an AS400? I said, this is mini mainframe. She said, oh, so it won't run because it had a 3-inch floppy, and she figured, oh, you know, and this guy just sold it to her, you know, sight unseen, and she thought it was a PC. It wasn't. And I opened up the side of it, and I was like, here's your hard drive. It's a Winchester 20 megabyte hard drive. This thing was huge. It was
Damn.
an old hard drive. And I said, here's your RAM. It's soldered onto the motherboard. So you'd have to get a brand new motherboard. And she goes, so can I run Windows 95 on it? No. You have to run IBM JECL, which is Job Entry Control Language. Actually, AS400 had applications, so you have to use Application System Control Language on it. And she goes, well, no, it's a PC. No, it's not a PC. It's not a personal computer.
No.
But I said no.
So the only thing Windows associated with that is you can use it to keep a window open. That's fine. You can throw it out of a window, or you can use it to keep a window open.
Keep a door from slamming. That's about it.
I mean, that's it.
And she goes, oh. I said, I would, you know what? I would bring it back to the guy you got it from. I said, get your money back if you can. I don't know if I can get my money back. I'm like, okay. So then she left. Okay. But then somebody came in with this other computer. Oh, they came in with the Coleco computer. Not Coleco but the Coleco made a it had the dual tape drive, in it with the dot matrix printer.
Yeah.
And they brought the thing in. They're like, oh, well, we're going to run Windows 95 on this. I was like, no, you're not. Because they bought Windows 95 and they bought RAM for it. And I was like, okay, wait. Let's look at the thing.
Look at the specs on
I
it.
opened it up, and I was like,
It's like, yeah, let's look at the specs on these first.
yeah, look at this. I was like, didn't you look at the specs of this? Like, people are just bringing in random computers from all over, the planet, and like going, oh, there's going to be, because the special was too good to pass up. It was the Windows 95 and RAM for under $100. This thing,
yeah,
and I was like, okay, but
without really doing research into like would it work for me?
Speed, form factor, do the chips actually fit?
Right.
Is the RAM actually soldered onto the motherboard? Do I have to get a brand new motherboard? Do I have to get brand new RAM? They just but there were so many computers in there, and like people waiting in line. I'm going, no, yes, no, 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 yes, maybe, could be, quite possibly, out of the question. And and my friend's like going, well, how do you know? I was like, dude, they're bringing in these computers from 1975. I was like
it's like, I mean,
like
the last
Windows
one
3.11 will work on it, but not 95.
Yeah.
95 will never go on to this thing.
No, it's like, I mean, they're literally using they're using hand carts to bring them in because they're so big. Because they like the ones that'll work, they're a little bit smaller.
They were like the size of furniture. It was like,
so yeah, that's not gonna work. How do you know?
yeah.
I could just tell. I know. I could just tell.
And we put a sign outside saying, to make sure that the computer that you're bringing in has at least this, like minimum Pentium 2, Pentium 3. Well, actually Pentium 2 at the time, and then has at least this much hard drive space. Motherboard has to be at least this fast in order for you to run it.
Right.
Things like that. And oh man, just unbelievable.
Yeah. It good times. Good times. Oh,
I don't know if they were good times, but they were definitely I think they were end times. But
there were times.
There were times.
Yeah, there were times, and so yeah, so many times that I've encountered quite a few customers that were let's see, what's a good term, stupid.
There are no stupid questions.
Only stupid people. But I'd say the dumbest one I've, hands down to this day, it's always going to be the lady that called up pissed off because this computer don't work for shit. Only to find out that she did not plug it up into the wall outlet.
Power doesn't jump from the wall to the. We don't have wireless electricity yet.
So we don't have wireless. We do not have wireless power yet. Oh, I get that, but that's always going to be hands down the funniest one. Is that? Oh my gosh! Because I've up until that point. Okay. Up until then, like some of the dumbest questions I've ever had were just, is this, what does this do? What does that do? Can it do this? Blah, 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 blah. Just kind of the normal dumb questions. But this one, this one, it took the cake. And I've never, never, never spoke to anybody else that was like that ever again. And there was one time, and there was another time that I fixed a copier, the copy machine. And so I used to work at a homeless coalition where I managed a database there. Wow. And I also did I was the IT department in that whole thing. It's a small place, and so I only had one guy do IT, and that was me. And so I did all the computers and all the maintenance and everything like that. And so there was one morning, walked in like normal, and and same good morning to everybody and everything. And so this one of the ladies there, she sat back and she was in a chair. She was just looking at the printer. She was wondering, it's like, just frustrated. And she's like, Gilbert, can you look at the printer, please? Can you look at it was the copier. Can you look at the copier for me, please? Because I don't know what's going on. It's just not working. So I said, all right, I don't know what I could do, but I'll look at it and see. I'll try. Right?
Go. Looks like a copier to me. Okay.
I mean, it's a copier. It's got the buttons all in the right place. Nothing's worn off. Everything's there. So initial assessment, everything's good. So I push the power button. It powers up instantly, and it starts copying everything that she had on there. And so I look back at her. I go, "Copier's fixed."
That'd be $500. like Eddie Murphy in Coming to America when he
that'd be $500.
And he goes, all right, that'd be $25.
That's $25. Oh, and see, what made it even funnier is that at the time, one of my favorite shows is the IT Crowd. Oh, and yeah. for anybody that is listening in the future, the IT Crowd, British show, hilarious. And one of the running gags in the show is somebody calls up, has a problem with their computer. The guy says, "Have you tried turning it off and on?"
I had that mug. My friend got me that mug, and it says, "Have you tried turning it off and on again?"
Right. So when I pressed that button on the printer, I instantly had a, "Have you tried turning it off and on again?" When I pushed the power button.
I went to an office with went on an office it was supposed to be a networking issue. And I was like, okay. And my boss sent me out. I was working for Xerox. It was a Xerox printer. Big enterprise printer. It's all networked and stuff. And I was like, so I said, the printer had a network port in it. It had a USB port in it. Usually, like you would see those on on like the enterprise printers. If you just wanted to print directly, from the computer to there.
Right.
It didn't have AirPrint at the time, but it was this huge Xerox, like a 7050. Like a 7050 it had. It's like the size of like 2 refrigerators. That's how big it was. It was like high capacity, 10,000, maybe 20,000 pages a minute. And it was it was in the, it was in this, like, this cubicle, and right next to it were 24 USB cords, and each of them had a label on it with a name, Jan, Doug, whatever, da da da. And I'm like,
Right.
I'm looking at the thing. I'm like, oh, what the hell is this? So I call one of the people over. I said, like, we're having a network issue. I said, where's the Ethernet cable? The what? The Ethernet cable, the network cable that plugs into your network. I'm like, no, we use this. And I was like, wait. So they were using, somebody strung across from every computer that they were using. There were only like five. I think there were like maybe
My God.
5 or 6 people in the office.
Oh,
They
my
were
God.
using USB extension cords that were linked together, and they had names on each of the things. So when you wanted to print to something, you would take James's cord and plug it into the back of the printer, go to the computer, type out the thing, and send it. And I'm like,
Oh, my God.
and I'm like standing there going, wow, there's more than a network issue going on here. These people have some issues, but it was like more than a network issue.
Right.
And
That's one of those situations where you look at it and just go, like you just,
I couldn't get back to the office fast
like
enough
that,
to
like
tell
this.
them how stupid these people were. But I mean, it was like I was like, and I'm looking at the. It was funny because the the things from their desk had network ports, and they never, so I guess there were network, ports.
Right.
And I was like, so then I said to the woman, I said, so wait a minute. I said, so all right, so when you print, what do you have to do? And she goes, our IT people told us how to do this. I was like, okay. So you select your USB cord that has your name on it, you plug it in the back, and then you go back to your desk and you print. Yeah. And I'm like, okay.
All right.
I said, where is your IT, office?
I'm waiting for it.
I'm like, she goes, well, we really don't have our own IT, office. We don't have it in this building. I said, who did this? Well, the boss's son. I said, okay.
All right.
I said, the boss's son. How old is the boss's son? Oh, he's like 14, 15. He's, he's in junior high.
Oh, okay. He's into computers, and so
he's good with computers. I said, apparently not with networking.
Yeah. No, obviously, no. Good with computers means he knows how to play games. He knows how to play games on the PC. That's it.
So I'm like, I'm walking around this office. I'm like, it would be easier for them just to write the stuff off the screen onto a piece of paper. It would be faster. And they had this enterprise copier there, and I had to call the had to call the head office. So I call the head office from the thing. And my boss is there, and he goes, so what's going on? I say, these people are still in the Stone Age, boss. This printer is a little bit more than they bargained for. And he goes, well, what's the network issue? I said, the network issue is they have no network. They are not networked at all. There are no Ethernet cables going to the ports. The port that is by I said, there is no Ethernet cable going to the port. There is no hub, and there is no wire room. They don't know anything. He goes, well, then how are they printing? I said, and I didn't have a cell phone at the time, so like I couldn't take a picture of the thing and send it back to him. I was like, they have USB extension cables that they are, that they have, and the USB extension cables has a name on each one. There's like eight. I think there were like 8 people in the office, including the administrator. So there's 8 people in the office, including the administrator, and each person has their name on it. And he goes, and there was this pause, at the end.
Of course.
What? Yeah. I was like, yeah. I was like, that's the network issue. And he goes, oh, yeah. I said, this is going to be a fun one to try.
Yeah.
He goes, why do they have a 750? I was like going, well, I'm sorry. How come they have the 7050? I said, God only knows.
Oh, odds are they got,
because it had a USB port on the back of it.
Somebody got suckered into it to say not. Oh, well, it's got a USB.
Yeah.
So I was like, without realizing, what exactly that means.
So then I said to myself, well, if we get a USB hub and we hook the hub into the printer and we hook all the USBs in.
Yeah.
They could still possibly use the spooler, which, they
should work.
Send jobs to the printer.
Yeah, it should work.
Would come in at, certain intervals. It won't be that fast.
Yeah.
But they could still do it. And I said to myself, So I went out. I was like, I'll be right back. And I went to the store. I don't think I went to Staples. I think I went. There was some office store. I did Office Depot. I went to Office Depot, and I grabbed a USB hub, which cost me at the time like almost $100. And I grabbed a USB hub, threw it in there, hooked all their stuff in. And I said, okay, you try printing, and the thing. So they were trying it, and it was working. And, oh my God, this is wonderful. We can print. Oh, we don't have to do. You don't have. I was like, yeah. Think of all the time you could have saved if you actually had a network.
Right.
They weren't networked. They weren't like, They just didn't. I
didn't have a network.
Yeah, they didn't even have a server. I went to go look for a server in the office. They didn't have a server.
Jeez.
They just had a bunch of computers that they did their thing on, and they had like proprietary software. And I was like, so wait, how is this hooked up? Well, the company who sold us the software hooked this up to the printer.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, but wouldn't they have told you that you needed like a network? I said, if you had a network hub and you had a server, oh no, we don't have money for a server. So I walked out of there. I got my car. I drove I drove to my next, job that I had to do, and then I went back to the office. And I sat down in my cubicle, and I went like this. I just went, like, I need like some Jameson. I need a couple of beers.
It's like, I need something.
I need something. And my boss is like, My boss comes over to me and he goes, so what did you do to fix the problem? I said, I bought them a USB hub. How much did you spend? $89. That much? Well, yeah. I had to get all. I said I had to buy a 10-port hub to hook up 8 people into the same printer, and that's how they're doing their jobs. He goes, "Oh, okay, that works." Yeah, it works. He goes, "Oh, okay," and he's all happy, and then he walks away. So
So I get
about
in his head, job is done. Good.
yeah,
Boom.
job's done. Light is green, trap is clean. So, and he walks away. About 3 weeks later, get this call. Something happened with the printer. It's not printing anymore. I don't know what happened. Ba 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 ba. Can you send that guy, that tech back who fixed it? So I had to go back. So I go back. And the kid was there. The kid who implemented the system. And I'm like, so he's here. Now I could talk to him. And they go, well, he said that. I was like, look, you guys need a network switch. I said, you obviously have Ethernet cable, hooked up to all the thing. He goes, well, he doesn't know how to do that. I said, I know how to do that. Ask me. I will do it for you. I said, but you're going to need a server. You're going to need a designated computer to put this stuff on, and then I have to call. So, I said to my boss, I said, let's just get them up and running. If we get them up and running, maybe they'll buy more products from us. Maybe they'll buy more printers or something like that. And they did. I mean, they got a small server.
Okay.
I had to call the company. The company said, wow, they actually have a server now. Yeah, they got a server. They have a switch. You can remote in. You could do all this. Because they were paying for services that they didn't even have. They were just like, I was like, I was just flabbergasted. I was like, what the hell, man? Like, I mean,
it's like how are you making money when you're just wasting it like this?
Making money, you're spending all this money on all this software and this technology, but you're like,
it's like you're paying for something that you don't need to pay for.
Yeah, like putting like a Ferrari engine into a Model T, like.
It's like, why?
It was why? Oh well, it's a big copier. It's like. You could get a smaller copier. You didn't need this huge copy machine.
Yeah.
but they, I don't know. I just don't understand people sometimes. But I got them up and running with basic, like with basic Ethernet. I labeled all the cables. I labeled all the ports. I got it all up and running. I said. And I said to the administrator, I said, look, isn't it easier than trying to do it? He goes, well, my son came up with the solution. And I was like, yeah, it's only if the Ethernet went down. The printer is capable of serving 25,000 to, like over 100,000. Well, about, I don't know, anywhere from 25 to 50,000 users. You can have a printer like that,
Right.
And the hub, was I think it was like a 10. It was a 24 port switch. I got them a 24 port switch. So I was like, okay, you got a 24 port switch. It's in the rack. It's all here. It's all done, and we got it all done for them, and they were happy, and they paid all the money to us, but it was just
exhausting. It sounds exhausting because
But
honestly, my first initial, my first reaction would be, oh, I want to punch that little kid in his mouth for setting this up.
the exhausting part was training them to choose, because like when you go to print, you can print to PDF.
Yeah.
You can print to you can print to the printer. I said, okay, when you're going to print to the printer, because the default was PDF. It would always print to PDF. I always made a PDF.
Okay.
Well, I don't know where it is. It's like, no, you're not printing to PDF. You're printing to the printer. Wasn't that the printer? No, that's a PDF. What's a PDF? And I'm like, and I had to explain the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, no, you want to choose this. So what I did was I went into every single system, every single computer, made it the default device. And for some reason, one of those idiots would always take it off the default device and print to PDF. I didn't understand. I was like going, why can't I just have that one thing where it just stays default printer? And I was like, you know what? Now you have the software, the proprietary software that you use. Okay. You call them, for support. Don't call me anymore. I'm done. I do the printer. Well, we're trying to print to the printer. No, you're trying to print to the printer through that software. You need to call them. And they would keep calling me. Like, like my boss would keep calling me up going, they want you to, stop by, and no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And he goes, well, I tell them to call the company with the proprietary software. That's where they need to do. He goes, oh yeah, that's good. So he kept telling them to call them, and then the calls just stopped. And I was like, oh, thank God. I actually got somebody into the 20th century. That's amazing. like
that is amazing.
I have to go home and drink now.
No, honestly, that is amazing, because generally, like with people like that, once you've established yourself as you're being the guy,
yeah,
they do not like letting go of their guy.
I hated that. I hated being the guy. George knows how to do that. Oh,
right.
He's really good at that. Yeah. I don't think so.
And then all of a sudden you get volunteered for stuff that you have no clue on what you're doing. And it's like, I don't even know what I'm doing. Oh, it's easy. All you got to do is just take the scalpel here, just cut through the chest, and then it's like, I don't have a degree in doing heart surgery. I don't know how to do that.
But I did stay at a Holiday Inn last night.
Right.
Remember that commercial?
Yes.
Are you a real doctor? No.
Said no, but I play one on TV. Said no, but I play one on TV. And like many doctors, I'm smart, and I stayed at a Holiday Inn. What?
Amazing. It was just amazing to me how people run a business. It's just like, you don't know, like, oh yeah, computers are supposed to be, supposed to make the job faster. No, not really. It's supposed to automate certain things.
Yeah. I mean,
but if your personnel are not trained on it, they're just,
either wasting time and wasting money. And I don't know what else to tell you on that one, man. Don't know what else to tell you.
The one company that my wife and I talk about, because we met each other at this company. I'm not going to tell you the name, but the one person upstairs, the one administrator, she's this old lady, and she couldn't see, so the icons on her screen were very small. And I just said kiddingly to her, I said, "Oh, why don't you get a bigger screen?" So she got this. She got like this 47-inch monitor, so she could make the icons bigger, so she could see it. I was like,
damn.
I said, and I said it. I mean, I said it jokingly, but she said, "Oh, do you think that would work?" And like, within 2 weeks, I went to go service her computer. It's like, holy Jesus!
It's like, holy shit!
It's like 115-inch screen sitting on
just
top
just
of
there. It's like
like a TV.
It's like, so how
sitting on top of her computer, and I was like, "What the hell, man?" She goes, "Didn't you tell me to get a bigger monitor?" I said,
yeah, but I mean,
I said, "Can you see all your icons?" She goes, "Yeah, it's great." I was like,
I bet you can.
Okay.
I bet you can. I bet you can see all those icons now.
I said it as a joke, man. I was like, okay, I can't joke with this person anymore.
So you said bigger monitor. She said, bet.
Like everybody else had like the largest. It was funny because the largest monitors that all the VIPs had were only 24-inch. She had a 47-inch monitor sitting on top of her computer. This thing was huge.
Oh god, that's hilarious. Oh my god, it looks like we are coming near to the end of our show. So this has been
we
fun,
didn't talk
man.
about much, and no, we weren't eating tacos. It wasn't Taco Tuesday.
No. No. We're gonna work on that. We're gonna work on getting tacos on Taco Tuesdays.
Yeah.
On Taco Tech Tuesdays, we're gonna have tacos.
Taco Tech. There you go. Taco Tech Tuesday.
I think that's what's gonna be from now on. Taco Tech Tuesday.
IT Crowd Tuesday. There you go. IT Crowd Tuesday. Hello Tech Services. You try turning it on and off again.
The ITTT. But this has been fun. And so yeah, it's been Tech Tuesday. This show's been brought to you in part by CNS-Computers. You got a VPN and went to the wrong site, didn't you? You downloaded something that you shouldn't have downloaded, and you got something. You got infected. You got infected with a virtual STD because you went to the wrong site. Take it all down there. Take it all down to CNS Computers out, and they'll take a look at it, get you cleaned up, get you a whole brand new system, or at least it'll run like it's brand new. And tell them George sent you. See if they'll give you a discount. I don't know if they will. They might not. I don't know. But try it anyways. They like that. Or go visit them. Say hi. Servicing the East Stroudsburg and Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania area. CNS-computers.com. So coming up next, we have, what do you have? TK Tonight with Jeff Kennedy.
Tonight.
And
Jeff Kennedy.
With Jeff Kennedy. After that, we have got the Hurricane Girls with Sheila Chappelle and her crew. And after that, the end of the night, we have Conversations with T. Nathan. So, anybody that's going to be listening in the future, or if you're listening now, then hey, just stick around and wait for TKE Tonight with Jeff Kennedy. So, for myself and for George here, everyone, take care.